posted by you/no designer 5831. I, 23F, have never been very close to my dad. My parents divorced when I was a baby, and I barely remember them being together. My mom remarried when I was 4, and my stepdad has been a solid father figure ever since. My mom had 80% custody, so I mostly grew up with her, my stepdad, and my brother. We all got along great. As for my dad, we had a decent relationship, but it wasn't very deep. He lived 2 minutes away from my mom's house, and I saw him once a week and every other weekend. When I turned 18, I stopped visiting as often, but we'd still have dinner together occasionally, maybe once or twice a month. The issue, my fiancé, let's call him Arch, 21M, and I started dating when I was 22 and he was 20. We met at a youth group and quickly became best friends. I know it seems fast to some, but when you know, you know. I can't imagine my life without him. Before proposing, Arch wanted to ask for blessings from both my mom and stepdad, as well as my dad. My mom and stepdad were thrilled and gave their blessings immediately. My dad, however, wasn't as cooperative. He dodged Arch for weeks, despite being retired and having plenty of free time. When they finally met, my dad came prepared with 2 printed letters, one for Arch and one for me, stating that he would not give his blessing. He didn't even let Arch ask the question before handing over the letters. He also scoffed at the fact that Arch asked for my stepdad's blessing, calling it ridiculous. Arch defended my stepdad, but the damage was done. He came home upset, and after some crying, he told me what had happened. I was hurt and felt disrespected, especially by how my dad dismissed my stepdad's role in my life. After cooling off for a few days, I met my dad at a park to talk things out. It didn't go well. My dad told me he wasn't coming to the wedding, and neither was his side of the family. I asked him directly, if I get engaged, you won't come to the wedding? He flat out said no. I then asked, if I go through with this, are you saying you want nothing to do with me? His response was, no sweat off my back. That's when I lost my composure. I had been holding it together until that point, but his indifference hurt me deeply. He insisted that we needed to wait 2 more years to get engaged, and maybe then he'd reconsider. He ended the conversation by saying he wouldn't pay for the wedding or be involved in any way. A few days later, Arch proposed. It was perfect, our families, minus my dad and his fiancée, were there, and it was a magical night. We posted about it on social media, and while we were showered with congratulations from friends and family, there was complete radio silence from my dad's side. I started second-guessing myself. Maybe I had been too hasty? Maybe I was in the wrong? So, I reached out to him. I texted a heartfelt message, telling him I wanted him at my wedding, that he's my dad, and I wanted him to walk me down the aisle. He ignored all that I said and just asked for my email. Confused, I gave it to him. A few hours later, I received a long, emotionally charged email. He accused me of disrespecting him and ruining what should have been a special time between a father and daughter. He said Arch and I were responsible for the destruction of our relationship and that it would take enormous effort to repair things. His final words were, but you got exactly what you wanted. My mom, stepdad, and Arch's family are all supporting us. My mom and stepdad have offered to pay for the wedding since my dad backed out. Wedding planning has been fun, but this whole situation has me questioning if I am somehow at fault here. Edit. I can't reply to all the comments mentioning this, so I'll write it here. I wanted my fiancé to ask my parents out of respect, I guess? I always thought it was a sweet gesture, but we viewed it as a way to include them in this next stage of life, rather than as asking permission for him to marry me. I'm not sure how to properly articulate it though, sorry. As for my mom and his relationship, they were always very civil, and I'd go as far as to say they were friends throughout my life. There were never any fights, at least not in front of me and my brother, and my mom and stepdad would invite him and his fiancée to parties we hosted. I'm not 100% sure of the reason for their divorce, though I can speculate. It just wasn't something we talked about. I'll add that they chose the custody arrangement themselves and did not have a court battle, as I've seen a few comments suggest. There was never a fight for custody, he chose to move out and live 2 minutes away. My mom did not want his money, that was also never an issue. She just wanted to spend Christmas with us and stay in the house. Yes, we are not close, but I have always respected and valued him as my father. So, I've always wanted both him and my stepdad to walk me down the aisle and to have a father-daughter dance with each of them. Update 9 days later. This whole thing went down about 4 months ago, and I hadn't spoken to my dad since, until a few days ago. He texted me, which I didn't notice right away since I've had his notifications silenced. When I finally saw it, I was walking out of work and literally dropped everything. His message read, I'm texting you because we need to have a conversation. I debated whether to even respond, but my peace of mind, and, let's be honest, my anxiety, got the better of me. I texted back, I'm open to having a conversation with the intention of moving forward, not rehashing the past. We scheduled a call for the next day. Fast forward to the call, he starts by saying he loves me and that hasn't changed. Then, almost immediately, he switches to how upset and disappointed he is that he had to reach out first. He then asked if we've set a wedding date yet. I told him it's late next year, hoping maybe he'd change his mind. But nope. He followed that up with, "Do you have a venue?" I said yes, and he went, "So, this is happening." Well, I'm not telling anyone in the family not to go. That's their choice, there aren't sides. I tried to explain that there are sides because no one in the family knows my side of things. I'm not super close with that side of the family, except for my grandma, who made it clear she's on his side. He cut me off, saying he didn't want to be on the phone long, and that's all he had to say. I asked if I could ask a question before he hung up, and he agreed. So, I asked, "Do you stand by your decision not to come?" His answer, "It depends on how I'm treated." At this point, I'm floored. I asked him to elaborate because I've never been disrespectful to him. And then it all came out. He feels he deserves the title of father of the bride and thinks it's completely disrespectful to him if I let both him and my stepdad walk me down the aisle. He went on to double down, saying that my stepdad should never have been asked because it wasn't his blessing to give, and that he's my biological father. He would only consider coming to the wedding if he's treated with the respect he deserves by having the sole title of father of the bride. And then, the kicker, he told me that my mom needed to call him to talk about all of this. Well, my mom is having none of that. She's refusing to call him, rightfully so, and is protecting her peace, as she should. If he wants to talk to her, he can pick up the phone and let her know that himself. I'm still reeling. Originally, I was fully planning on sending him an invite, but now I don't even know what to say. The whole thing feels so messed up. My fiancé's parents are upset, and so are my mom and stepdad. I'm honestly at a loss. I didn't expect to be giving an update this soon, or at all. But here we are. I haven't spoken to him since that call, and I'm thinking about writing him a letter. I want to take a few days to calm down first, though, before I decide anything. If I do send something, I'll update again. For now, this is where things stand. Commenter. You have a narcissistic black hole for a bio father. I have one too. He will literally move the goalpost throughout your wedding planning to make sure you know how important he is, and if you don't comply even once, he's out. The trash took itself out, don't drag it back in. It hurts to know that this isn't about you, it's all about him and his fragile ego. If people see your stepdad walking you, they'll know what a terrible father he really was, and I'm sure he's told everyone how involved he's been in your life. Mine did the same.